one-on-one. Only ṣàkóso wọn. Ó jẹ́ sílẹ̀ fún káwọn sórí. Má fi sí àtàwọn. Má fi sí àtàwọn. Ó jẹ́ kọ́mọ̀ má fi sí àtàwọn. Yé tó sókè má fi sí àtàwọn. Only ṣàkóso wọn sórí. Má fi sí àtàwọn. Jẹ́ kọ́mọ̀ má fi sí àtàwọn. Come on, say. Hey, see, Would you check, come on. Jump on. Come on, check, come on. Jump on. One nickel check, come on. Shut up and get in your body. You gotta shake it. You gotta shake it. You gotta shake it. You gotta shake it. Who want to gotta shake it? Come on. See, Salawa. I want that.
Most people are too lazy to do this, but it saves homeowners a fortune.
One-on-one. Oh my God, I see one. But that's too late for God, 130. My fist, I thought. My fist, I thought. Yeah, come on. My fist, I thought. Yeah, come on, go. My fist, I thought. Only shot for Simon, sorry, my fist, I thought. Yeah, come on. My fist, I thought. Yeah, come on, go. My fist, I thought. Yeah, come on, go. My fist, I thought. Yeah, come on. Hey, let me just come on. Hey, just come on. Hey, when you shut up and change your body, you gotta shake it. You gotta shake it. Who want the gotta shake? Oh yeah, share it. What you say? Share it. One more time. Share it. I want shower on it blocking. Share it. Shower on it blocking. Share it. Shower on it blocking. Share it. Shower on it blocking. Only share it. Shower on it blocking. Share it. Shower on it blocking. Yeah. Oh yeah, for one gamu. Jiggy. Gamu. Jiggy. Gamu. Jiggy. Gamu. I'm gonna do in the middle. I'm gonna do in the middle. I'm gonna do in the middle. You will I'm gonna do. Come on, the middle. You will I'm gonna do. Come on, the middle. Let me come. You will I'm gonna do. Come on, the middle. You will I'm gonna do. 1, 2, 3, and me come. Come. 1, 2, everybody this way. Come. You will I'm gonna do. Come on, the middle. You will I'm gonna do. Come on, the middle. You will I'm gonna do. Come on, the middle. You will I'm gonna do. Come on, the middle. You will I'm gonna do. Come on, baby, there. You will I'm gonna do. Come on, baby, yeah. Something wherever you go, wherever you see, do not say yes when you need to say no. Sorry, wherever you go, wherever you go, wherever you see, you go. Mama could have learned how to have a joke. Go up on the show, you go below. Wherever you go, wherever you see, go about me, Joe. Wherever you go, wherever you see, when you see, go. Go me, come. One, two, hit him with the distance.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome. Wow, that was a party, wasn't it? Shout out to Sugar Johnson for good stuff. Unique. Something that stands out. What he does is a little bit different from everybody else. Welcome back. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Welcome, Marriott. Marriott, I see you. How are you day? How are you? Welcome. We have another session. We'll continue the series that we started yesterday, the Love Life Reset. We're continuing. So today we're going to be talking about Dwight. What's his name again? Dwight Howard. We're going to be talking about NBA's Dwight Howard. Big story. So I've got a packed session for you today. It's going to be a masterclass. Welcome back. Awesome. Good to see you. Sorry I started late. Some things came up. As you know, I said I wanted to push it back to 11 a.m. Initially I scheduled for 11 a.m. It was becoming obvious I was going to be late. But of course, we have to show up every day now because now we're committed to this series. Just in case you missed the offer I made yesterday, it's all gone. No more. It's gone. Whatever offer I gave yesterday, it's gone. Okay, so but shout out to everybody that came in yesterday. I appreciate you for trusting us with your love life. I know it's not always easy to make such the decision, but shout out to you. But we do have access to the bootcamp still open. It's only $97. Okay, so if you go to manofprestige.com, it takes you right into it. Let me see. Not so good to see you. Mario says this musician is half the budget at a Lagos party. Yeah. If you want him now, if you want Shaggy Johnson now, yeah, you must be ready to pay some serious money. I think it's actually touring the United States at the moment. Chinye had sent me a picture of her going to visit. She sent me a picture that she went to the show. But I've also seen some other videos of him in LA. Los Angeles, California, rather. I don't know which part of California. But anyway, nonetheless, let's get back to business today. Shout out to Shaggy Johnson. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe. We're on a mission here, okay? We're on a mission. There's a pandemic going on and people are struggling, and oftentimes they like to call it, we don't care, but then I see them arguing, like right here on the internet, on the social media streets. I'm like, yeah, they're struggling. So I decided to bring back this master classes so that we can talk about it. I made some offers yesterday. Those offers are gone. All right. So now if you go to, I'm just going to tell you right now, manofprestige.com. This is the wrong page. It should be loading properly now. Let's try that again. Okay. It should be loading. Let me see here. Yeah, if you go here, let me just take a look at something. Hold on 1 second. Let me make sure that everything is working properly. Hold on 1 second, guys. If you're loading it for the first time, it should be fine. Let me see here. Welcome back. So today we're talking about Dwight Howard. Okay, I saw some comments on the show we did yesterday with you, May Edochie. I hope you really grabbed the lessons in that session. I hope you weren't there just to argue, because me, I'm not gonna argue with you about May Edochie. I don't know the details, and it doesn't. And honestly, the details doesn't matter. Okay, It wouldn't matter. The lessons are the lessons. Hi, Abby. Welcome, Abby. The lessons are the lessons. The details of it was the lawyer or it was Falana. Well, no, Falana was really the lawyer. Thank you for correcting me, I guess. It doesn't matter. let me shut this down before somebody sneaks into the back door. Shut that down real quick. All right, done. Let me see here. manofprestige.com. Okay, good. All right. So if you load manofprestige.com now, it should take you straight away to, let me see here. This is all wrong. Something is wrong. I'm going to fix that later. Let me see. Wanna. There you go. If you go to manofprestige.com, it should be loading this page. But while we're here right now, let me just make sure that something works properly. And then we'll take it from there. So anyway, welcome back. So we're on a 21-day journey. The idea here is that I'm going to be doing a session here. I'm going to be teaching you. We'll still continue to use celebrities as anchor for these lessons. Yes, they're celebrities. It's very easy for you to say, oh, these are celebrities. We don't know nothing about these people. I say cap. There's a reason why they are popular, because you can relate in one shape, form, or the other. That's how. You might not have that same level of clout. Maybe you don't, okay? But at the core of it, we're able to relate and make them popular because we have so much more in common than we like to admit. We do the same thing when it comes to rules that we've set for ourselves. Rules like do what works for you. Nobody has a rule book. Like, I know what you mean by that. It's true to only a certain extent, okay? Only to a certain extent. That's only true to a certain extent. We have a lot more in common than we like to admit. There are principles that guide our experience as human beings. There are principles and there are patterns when it comes to mastering our social order of things, our emotions as human beings. There are patterns. There are patterns also with the genders. There are some things that if you pay close attention, if you're not coming from a defensive place, if you're not coming from a place of trauma, right? There are things that you can simply look at and you could just tell that, oh, this person is, that's why you will hear things like, oh, this person behaves like a man, or things like that, you will hear things like that. Okay. So can we all stop the cap? We have a lot more in common. That's what we should be paying attention to. That's what, when they say success leave clues, people will literally turn around in the conversation about how to do marriage successfully, and they will literally say, do what works for you. Like, what are you talking about? All right. Now, again, there's a level of truth to it. But if I consider that angle that most people are coming from, it's actually all a lie. Once I consider that angle that most people are coming from, which is to basically give themselves a free pass to just act anyhow. If you do anyhow, you go collect anyhow. Okay, you treat marriage is not anybody's mate, it's just like emotions. You treat it anyhow, you go collect anyhow.
Sorry.
All right, so let's all come together. I'm open. You have a different idea, you have a different perspective. I'm always open to hear it. Always. It might not seem that way, but I promise you, I do pay attention. That's one of the mistakes that a lot of men actually make. Okay, so as I was saying, this one is only $97. Just go to manofprestige.com. It takes you right inside. That's the only access that you have to us as coaches. And like I said, the spots are filled right now, but it also puts you on a priority list when we do create some open space. Okay, there's only so much time I have in a day, 24 hours. So that's a good way to access the material right away. Start going again. Back to Dwight Howard. But before we get back into Dwight Howard here, before we get into Dwight Howard, let's do quick house rules. Okay, my name is Ola, and I'm coming to you live from my Empire Pro Studios. And what we do here is we extract life and relationship lessons from trendy topics. We tackle them from a self first. So in other words, I will not help you blame your ex. I will not help you blame you Ledoche. Okay. And I don't care about the details of who is the lawyer or not. It's not really an important detail, okay? And I am not your journalist. Oh, why don't you find out your facts? I'm not your journalist. I am a coach, and that's what we do here. So I extract specifically the lessons that are useful for us. So with that being said, everything is allegedly. Everything allegedly. Well, we tackle these things from self-power, social seduction, attraction, emotional intelligence standpoint. We want you to have the power. We don't want you to remain a victim, even if you were a victim before. I don't want us to worry too much about the villain, about the Nollywood end of the story, where the villain dies and then the victim survives. There's a good chance your story is not a Nollywood story, okay? It's to be continued. It is not the end, okay? Shout out to all the sponsors. I appreciate you. We're up to $66.17 this month already. You can always support using the super chat button. There's a $sign. You can always use that. You can access the books or us as a coach, still going to Man of Prestige, like I said earlier on. You can also support, okay? If I say anything that makes sense to you and you feel the need to support what we're doing here, you can use any one of this: super chat, Cash App, Zelle, PayPal. You can also use that PayPal email address if you want to communicate with us. Zelle email. You can also, I always forget to post this, you can also contact us using the phone number right here, preferably WhatsApp, but text message in general. It's +1 732 305 8577. All right. If you want to tell me how much you appreciate me, leave it in the comments. I appreciate you too. Okay. Thank you. If you need our services, those are the contact information right there. All right, so again, I think that was the house rule. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we do go live. All right, so welcome. So let's talk about Dwight Howard. Who is Dwight Howard? Who is this guy? So many of you, if I'm not talking about you, Ledoche, you don't know who it is. Okay, Dwight Howard is an NBA superstar. Okay, he's known for playing center in the league. I don't watch basketball too much, but all I can tell you is also a #1 overall pick in 2004 NBA draft. He spent the prime of his career with the Orlando Magic. He's an 8-time NBA All-Star. He's a big guy, okay? What that means is a lot of attention on him. What that means is that he's expected to lead. What that means is that to whom much is given, much is expected, much is required, right? What that means is that he carries a lot of responsibility, and if he moves mad, he go collect anyhow. Just like the rest of us, most of you are leaders in your own world, rightfully leaders in your own world. So you probably have a lot to lose. You can't just run into the internet and start running your mouth like most of the majority of the internet, dare I say.
Sorry, yo.
You have a lot to lose, so you can't just take talking points because it feels good and repeat them. You want to assess them, make sure it makes sense to you. No, not just make sense to you. That's not good enough. You want to make sure it makes sense short term, but most importantly, long term. There are a lot of things that will make sense to you short term, but when you have foresight, you're like, this is the wrong move. This is the wrong move. And that's part of how to win in life. You have to look at things, assess things from a long-term standpoint. Anyway, 8-time NBA All-Star, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, and an NBA champion with the Lakers in 2020. Off the court, speaking of 2020, I want to do something before we get too deep into the Dwight Howard story here. Marriott actually posted something in the backstage. I want to read it out loud because I think it's very important that we pay attention to it. I don't want to overeducate us, so but there's some things that are just important I want to share, because I do believe that the modern age, the modern times marriage is suffering from too much information. I do believe that personally. That's why I try to limit the sessions to 1 hour. Okay. Unfortunately, I talk too much sometimes. I do overdo. But I think the modern marriage is suffering from too much knowledge, too much. All too know, we know too much. As good as that sounds, anything that's too much becomes less valuable, right? This is just basic economics. It's true across the board. They said off the court, though, Dwight has made just as many headlines, not always for the best reasons. He's been involved in multiple public relationships, fathered several children with different women, and faced serious allegations over the years. Most recently, he joined the Big Three League. But now it's his personal life that's back in the spotlight as his wife, Amber Rose Howard, just filed for divorce after only 6 months of marriage. This is celebrity stuff. No, it is not. Personally, I know people that didn't last more than 6 months. Okay. Not only that, we also know that there are some studies that have shown that the average marriage is only lasting 8 years. Okay. That's actually good news. That means yours can last a lifetime. There are 7 billion people here. So if you know what you're doing, it can last a lifetime. What does that also mean? It means it can last literally 3 months or less. So and it's where we come in, because the headlines are just the surface. We're here to dig deeper and pull out the life and relationship lessons that matter to you. That is our intro about this. But today I have 7 lessons that I want to share with you with regards to this guy's story. Before I share the lessons, I'm going to go through a little bit of some highlights with regards to all of these children with multiple baby mothers. There's a difference between baby mothers and polygamy. There's a difference between cheating and polygamy. Polygamy is a way of life. It's a lifestyle. It's a choice. The other one is not always a choice, contrary to what you might have told yourself because you've been on the receiving end of cheating. We know it's a choice that people make, but that's not the highlight of what you should be learning from it. Okay. Polygamy, however, is a choice, lifestyle, right? That is like, okay, I choose intentionally, this is the lifestyle I want to live, right? While it might have its pros and cons, there's nothing wrong with it. People can choose to go that direction if they want to. I hope they know what they're doing, because I believe strongly that in this time and age, it's swimming against the trend. When you swim against the trend and you don't know what you're doing, you will probably drown. And sadly, you probably will drown other people, for example, children. And on another day, we'll talk about the disadvantages of polygamy. There are many of them. Okay. But before we continue, there's this article that Marriott shared with me behind the scenes, and I thought we should go through it. It's about the manosphere. I know there's a lot of people that have been exposed since 2020 to manosphere. I've engaged the manosphere for about 5 to 6 years in conversations, so I pretty much know all the talking points. The last of them, I was dragged for it. One of their talking points is the sign language, which is something that they use to shame women, as in is the language that women use to shame men when you're trying to hold them accountable. I still think holding women that you don't want accountable is a waste of your dear time. And if anything, it tells me more about you. Yeah, I know you try to cap that it's about the society, yeah, but whatever. You just tend to forget to tell us your own story, or you don't want to tell us your story, or you think, why tell you the story? Why can't we just talk about the topic? You're right. And that's what I'm doing, because I know you're not going to tell me your story anyway. Honestly, I don't need your story. The people that care about securing love and connection in the healthy way, they know what to do. They know where to go. I've shared that information here a few minutes. All right, already, right? All you have to do is go to Man of Prestige, and then we can unpack it, and then we can help you get to your desires. We have a very safe space. You can tell us more. This public place is not a safe space. Okay. All right. So let me see here. So there's this article on a Canadian website, apparently, but it's the same. It says family lawyer says he's seen a new trend of the manosphere leading to divorce. I'm just going to read, okay? In retrospect, Kenzie Sproat thinks there were warning signs that was not right in her year-long relationship. She says her partner seems to shift from a gentleman to someone who controlled and ridiculed her. Let me give a quick disclaimer. The manosphere has been created from a real place of hurt and pain that men have been going through for decades. Men don't feel heard and seen. Okay? Now, reacting by joining the manosphere, my personal assessment has created bigger problems. That's my personal assessment. Okay? But I want to acknowledge that these are real things that men have gone through, that have gone silent for so long. Now, people will say, hey, men need to speak up more. Okay, I agree. But it must be done within controlled environment, not on the internet. Before I move too further into the article, I wanted to jump to this session and read it to you. What is the manosphere? Because some of you have boys and children and sons, okay? This is what the article says about what is the manosphere. It says Neil Sheminski is a professor of English at a Cambrian College in Sudbury, Ontario, who has talked about the manosphere in podcasts and online videos. He describes it as a misogynist movement that feels that feminism has won. Okay, now a man who will prove his point will basically get triggered by this and would overreact and say, it's not a misogynist here. It's not toxic masculinity. Calm down, drink water. Hold on one second. Calm down. Okay. And I quote, women have not just achieved equality, this is what they think, but now women are in the driver's seat, and that this is wrong. And it is both natural and good for men to be in positions of power, and it is both natural and good for men, only men, to be in positions of power and leadership. The manosphere broadly takes the view that men and women should return to what are seen as traditional roles, he said. Influencers who operate in this sphere suggest the only thing that women are good for is sex and popping out babies, or maybe picking up after you, he said. When this online misogynistic trends, okay, not misogynist, misogynistic trends, those are two different things, right? One is qualifying and describing, kind of like similar to our lecture on the word control yesterday. When this online misogynistic trends began emerging a decade ago, it was really a movement of single men, Sheminski said. The greatest predictor of somebody identified as a member of the manosphere is that they've been rejected by a woman recently. They won't tell you that up front. You have to have the ability to listen long enough to hear them say this. Okay, yeah, they have to feel safe before they will tell you that truth, okay? He said it's surprising to see it gaining traction among married men. What do I tell you? I tell you that's all the time. Married men are amongst, okay? Married men that have collected woto from a woman.
Sorry.
Yeah. Struggle. All right. This is a sign that those tendrils of the manosphere that I was talking about earlier are just permeating deeper and deeper into spaces that are mostly populated by men. So that's the manosphere. To be fair, not everybody inside of manosphere are moving mad, but the most quiet ones, they are obviously faith cometh by hearing. So does fear. So when people continue to listen to certain rhetoric, if you notice, he picked his word very, very carefully here. He said, let me read it again. The influencers, something about the influencers, right? He used the word suggest. Okay, right here, up here. He said the influencers who operate in this sphere suggest. He didn't say they said. There's a lot of influencers that don't mean to suggest, but they effectively are suggesting the only thing that women are good for is sex and popping out babies, or maybe picking up after you. With that being said, they must be responsible, because once you become an influencer, You have to be responsible for the suggestions coming from your backside. That's your responsibility. There's a lot of impressionable young men mind. What's impressionable? Children. But sometimes people that have gone through very bad experiences with a woman, and when they end up in that place, they become impressionable minds. They go through what they call the red pill rage, and some of them never come out. Some do come out. Some of them come out after they've created the damages.
Sorry, oh, sorry, oh.
All right. Welcome, Chinye. The poll was funny. We'll continue to remember the APC. What is his name again? Ekene APC Bishop. All three in one person. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Welcome. All right. So now that you know what the manosphere is, there's this quick at the beginning. It says, in retrospect. Okay, I think I read that part. Okay, in retrospect, Kenzie Sprout thinks there were warning signs that all was not right in her year-long relationship. She says her partner seemed to shift. I'm kind of ashamed, she said. The 23-year-old university student said, I totally just listened to him. And then at the end, I was like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. She first got involved in the long-distance relationship with an American military man a few years ago. She said the red flags began popping up 6 months in when he began shaming her over her appearance. A lot of people in the manosphere will accuse women of the sign language, which again I was dragged for not knowing what it was. That was the last bit of what I had to know. Sign language is SIGN. It's an acronym. I thought they were using sign like the language of the deaf. I thought they were using that. And even at that time, I even learned that it's inappropriate, not political correct, to use deaf and dumb. Something that Nigerians still don't know, but we're learning. All of us learn. That's why you should listen. Listen, not to always yield, but at least to know where people are coming from. So sign, SIGN, stands for shaming, insult, guilt, and need to be right. That's precisely what most people in the manosphere, or most of the impressionable mind that end up in that space, that's what they end up doing. They just use shaming and insults to pass their message along. And what does it do? It creates terrible, terrible solutions, terrible, terrible results. Blowing up her phone if she didn't respond to his text and expressing jealousy over her friendships with other men. This is a very common thing. Men expressing jealousy over text and expressing jealousy over her friendships with other men. Sometimes rightfully so, sometimes it's just the fear. The fear eats up the whole relationship. Okay, what do most people, my prediction, dare I say, my prediction, most people that enters the manosphere or the feminism movement, which is worse, okay, they end up coming out with a bunch of fear. They only move from a place of fear. Yes, it was supposed to create good, but every solution creates new problems. Write that down in your notes. Every solution, it doesn't matter how perfect you think the solution is. Every solution creates new problems. She realizes now she didn't see how his behavior started affecting her. I got used to it. I got used to the condescension. Condescension, one of the poisons that I've been teaching you guys here for a long, long time. Condescension is one of many poisons that I tell you, don't use them, and then you should know how to detect them. If you detect them in a relationship that you're a part of already, you don't want to overreact. You just want to recognize it as what it is. There are strategies to mitigate, nip it in the bud, and actually influence the person to move in another direction if you are already committed into that relationship. The answer is not always to run away, because when you run away, you continue to attract who you are. It's your shadow. It follows you everywhere you are. In a very weird, twisted way, he has a way of following you. You are continue to attract who you are, remember? So as you can see, these are some of the poisons on the screen. I will leave you there while I continue the article. She said, I got used to the condescension. Can you get used to the condescension? Yes. Yes. But in the long run, it will eat you up. It will destroy your self-esteem. when I see people in certain toxic environment, they say, he's just telling us the truth. He like to call. I like where people are just being honest. They cut through to each other. Yes, okay. In due time, okay. Before they know it, they wake up, they open their eyes. Self-esteem is shot, destroyed everywhere, scattered. Okay, so again, why? Because they might have shamed you for some bad behaviors you might have shown, but ultimately the poisons are the poisons. They eat you up. They eat up into everything good. It's just bad. Okay, it's just bad. All right. So while we ask for the truth and to be honest and brutally honest, all this kind of stuff, be careful what you ask for, because people who are brutally honest, they tend to be very rude and they really don't care. They will tell you with their full chest, I don't care, I just want to tell the truth. You better believe it, they don't care. Before you know it, your self-esteem is shot. So what's the alternative? Should you not go after the truth? You should go after the truth, but whatever you're calling truth should be able to stand the test of time. It's not just some weirdo's opinion on the internet. Okay, it should be able to help you sustain over a period of time. Yes, truth can hurt immediately, like right now, truth can hurt. Okay, but you should be in a space where you're able to, at least when you wake up tomorrow, you're like, you still feel some type of way, but you feel free, because truth also is supposed to set you free, not hold you hostage, right? Okay. She thinks the online content he consumed, talking about the ex-husband now, right? She thinks the online content he consumed, such as manosphere creators like Andrew Tate and Joe Rogan, was part of what shaped his behavior. Andrew Tate. He would make jokes about how many good points Andrew Tate has, she said, referring to, see, when I disagree with Andrew Tate, I often can't even put my finger on what I disagree with. Okay, because oftentimes, what they're stating as, remember, they are truth. They are facts. And these are truths that on paper they are true, but they tend to discount the nature of human beings, which is emotional, okay? Which is the only thing that will last. The only thing that will withstand the test of time is the fact that we will continue to be emotional beings. We like to fantasize, but we also like the truth. The idea that you just completely like 100% truth is a fallacy, so basically it will fall on its face eventually. It can't last. Because at the end of the day, me, you, man, woman, and everything in between, we would like to look forward to the future with optimistic to some extent. Some of us are pessimistic and everything in between. So this idea that you're just 100% walking line, straight line, that just like the truth all the time is a lie. It's just something you like to tell yourself sometimes to make you feel good. Self-awareness. The picture I'm painting here is self-awareness. That's what, so Andrew Tate became popular because people are obsessed. They want the truth. So when somebody just talk out of their ass and call it the truth, or they sound very brutal and honest, I can understand why it will go viral, because people crave for the truth. It's the same reason why people chase after religion. Ultimately, they're just looking for someone to agree with them. Misery loves company. They're looking for someone to connect with their pain and give them a cookie cutter solution that just fix everything once and for all. Just tell me the truth. Should you continue to seek the truth? The key word is continue to seek the truth. The key word is not truth. Okay? Be open-minded is the point here. If something looks like the truth today, yes, respect it. But know that it's probably a function of your limited vision. You can only see this much at any point in time. There's a blind spot. Keep an open mind. Keep an open mind. If you like this so far, put a 1 in the chat. Let me get a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. About 15 people are listening to me. Just put a 1 in the chat. If we're hitting some point here, I just want to make sure we're engaged. Let's engage. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. Come to the chat. Put a 1 in the chat before I can continue. Do me a favor. Put a 1 in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you, Abby. Thank you. Put a 1 in the chat. Just put a 1 in the chat. It's open. Even if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed though. Put a 1 in the chat. Let me get at least 5 1s in the chat. Then we can continue. Let me get at least 5 1s in the chat, and then we can continue. Thank you. And make sure you hit the like button. We have to keep engaging the platform to help us spread the word. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We're talking about Dwight Howard today. It's a guy with about 55 different baby mothers, 55 children. I just exaggerated. That was allegedly. That was allegedly, I promise. Okay, but something like that. Something like that. Thank you, thank you. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share. Come to the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. Come to the chat. Come to the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if it's making sense before I can continue, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, 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 thank you. I know you're listening. Just turn on the phone. Turn on the phone. Turn on your phone screen and put a 1 there for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Turn on your notifications, everybody, to everything. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. 55, I say. Wait, yeah, 55 now. 55. Thank you, Peanut. Peanut, where have you been? Why are you doing like this? Is that the same Peanut that I know? Why? Where have you been? Come to the chat. Come and put a 1. I know you guys like listening to the lectures. Or put a 1. Let's engage. That will help us grow. Put a 1. Put a 1. I see 7 likes in the chat. I see 7 likes. Let's get that up to 13 at least, okay? I know I have a sweet voice. You just like to listen to the voice. Put a 1. I got 2 1s. Can I get 3 more? 3 more 1s in the chat. Thank you. 3 more 1s. And then we had 3 people dropped out. That's fine. That's okay. That's okay. We have, let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, I'll continue. I just need 3 more 1s in the chat. Thank you. I'll continue. Let me see here. What's happening here? Oh, okay. So wondering. Can I get 1s in the chat? No. Oh, you just gonna dare me? Okay. All right. Put a 1 in the chat. I shut down the live before, but because I didn't get what I want. Maybe this will be a second day. Let me see here. While we're doing that, oh, by the way, all you have to do, where we shut down the offer from yesterday. We didn't shut it down. It was over. It was over. It was taken. But we opened up the 21-day boot camp, 21-day marriage boot camp. We opened that up. It's only $97. 21-day on demand. You don't have to show up to a live session. It's on demand. It's with me and my wife. 21-day is for marriage-minded people. It's for marriage-minded people. 21-day boot camp. Let me clean this thing here. Let's see here. I'm waiting for my 3 1s, guys. I'm waiting for I'm actually gonna wait. I promise. I'm actually going to wait. Let's see here. This let me clean this thing once and for all while I'm waiting. Where is my catch? Okay, let's see. Okay. I'm waiting for 1s. I'm waiting for 1s. Pino, say I'm here. I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate you for being here. I'm waiting for 1s, guys. I'm waiting for 1s. If you're exercising coconut head right now, I wonder what you do inside of your relationships. No shots fired. No disrespect. I just wonder if you can't put a simple 1 in the chat. Okay. In about 3 minutes, I can get 3 1s in the chat. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Interesting. Let me see here. Where is this thing now? Okay. Let's see. Can I clean this? Remove from all history. Let's try this. I can get a 1 in the chat. Can you imagine? I can get 5 1s in the. No wonder. It is no wonder. You did do wonder, eh? You did do wonder, eh? You turned my life around. You did wonder, eh? You did do wonder, eh? You did do wonder, eh? You turn my life around. Where is this thing now? Okay, I think I found it. Let's see. Catch it. Not all now. Okay. You the one I you turn my life. Let me ever listen. Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. If I can't get in one of the chat. Can I get 3 more ones in the chat, guys? Please, please. Do I have to beg for that? It's kind of crazy that I have to beg for 3 more ones in the chat, but can I beg and get 3 more ones in the chat, please? It's crazy, but what can I say? Let me see if the likes went up too. We still got the Dwight Howard story to get to. Let's see, privacy. That party quickly. Let's go back here. Okay. So as I was saying, when you do go to manofprestige.com, you'll see this page right here. You see this page. Let me share this real quick. You see this page, and let's see. You see this page. You see it says fix your marriage in 21 days or less. Again, it's for anybody that's marriage minded. It's only $97. Everything you need is on that page. But yes, that's what we have right now. So you can come in through that. It's also put you on the priority list for when we do open up coaching sessions again. All right. Okay, so let's get back to, let me see here. When they broke up more than a year later, she felt only fleeting sadness. I'm continuing the Manosphere story real quick. The next day, I felt physically lighter and I was over it. I got 8 people to like this. Wow. Let me just say this really quickly. I'm going to give you guys some tough love. Simple things like this, okay? Simple things like this it's where relationships break down. That's where it comes from. See, there's no behavior. That's why I always say I'm covering a celebrity story today. There's no behavior, right? There's no behavior that starts at the very top when you become a celebrity. It starts from little things, little attitude, simple attitude stuff in your blind spot that you don't pay attention to. You know why people go through the personality test, why people try to learn attachment style and things like that. The reason is because it uncovers some things beyond black and white, right and wrong. It uncovers much more than, oh, this person is the enemy. Let me read some of the comments from yesterday to you, okay? Let me refresh this. Some of the comments. Shout out to all these comments, by the way. Everyone knows he's not May's lawyer. Who wants to support May? Promote her brand. Okay? These are the most comments I got yesterday. Now, it could be many reasons. It could be because people just get the lessons and they walk away. Or you could just also highlight what people are focused on. You know what? It's normal. I know the numbers. It's normal. But that's why the numbers in relationships are crazy. Okay? Simple things like this. People are engaged with the wrong. Now, the numbers are not going to change. That's what I'll be telling the Manosphere people, right? The numbers are always going to be the top 3%. The top 3% are the winners. The rest of them are the losers. That's just the way it works. It's not just relationships. It's anything in life that you care about. The winners are always like the top 3%. Okay. The rest of them are just people struggling, people fighting to win, people that is everything is just struggle. So when it comes to love, the same thing. They engage in struggle love. The worst part about it is that they might even tell themselves lies. Because why? It's not because they mean to tell themselves lies, but because they it makes them feel better in the short term. Okay. At least I can sleep tonight. Then I wake up into the same misery tomorrow. Same issue, but it starts at the very it starts with small things, small things. You see what I'm saying? So I just want you to pay attention to it. Hopefully, maybe you have enough self-awareness to start paying attention to it. Obviously, there are people that have just left the thing on, they're not listening. They are everything in between. But if you're listening to me and you couldn't drag yourself to put a 1 in the chat, to hit that like button, oh wow, clap for yourself. You won, because I will continue the lesson. One of the comments yesterday say, okay, let me see here. Hold on one second. Hold on. Not this one. Hold on. I want you to leave comments, okay? Plus, I can't stop you anyway. You know, you will leave comments. Let me see here. Where are the comments? Okay, I found it. There you go. You can refresh now. Oh god, I can't find the comments. Never mind the comments. Let's move on with the lessons. So when they broke up, Modern, let me read these comments up there. There's some comments in here. Okay, Abby said all of us are waiting. Uncle Ola said, you people really need the fix your marriage in 21 days counseling with the coconut head you are showing. Exactly, precisely. It's not me that said it too. I said it. I'll back it up. I said it. Okay. While Sprout got out of our relationship without headaches or paperwork, that's not true. There's always headache with getting out of relationship. That's why you don't want to just sit down there and say, hey, if it's wrong, I'll just leave. That's why you don't want to be preaching leaving as a solution. It's not an absolute solution, right? Of course, some people, it's just the best option for them to just leave, right? But it's best to just work on yourself so that you don't end up in a position where you have to leave. Nobody, for the most part, nobody goes into a relationship only to want to leave later on, right? And if you're one of those people that go into a relationship to want to leave, I'm curious to know what's going on in your mind. Says, not everyone is lucky, she said, because she was able to leave. The point she's making is that she was able to leave with no headaches. All right, family lawyer Scott Byers, who's based in Swift Current, Sask, said he and his colleagues have started seeing some of the factors both described becoming a reason for divorce. You know, most people quote the reason for divorce is infidelity. That's a symptom. Some people quote with irreconcilable difference. That's for sure a symptom, right? Irreconcilable differences. Is it irreconcilable or you refuse to reconcile? Reconcile what? Maybe not the relationship, maybe with yourself. Maybe this lack of self-love, lack of self-respect. Maybe there's low self-esteem, right? Reconciliation is not always about reconciling the marriage. Okay, as the years have passed since the pandemic, I'm certainly seeing more clients. This is a lawyer saying this. I'm certainly seeing more clients come in telling me my spouse isn't the same person that I knew when we met. He put his earbuds in and is listening to those podcasts and a lot of thinkers associated with the so-called manosphere. Byers said he believes online misogyny feeds a culture of coercion and abuse. Okay, I believe that too personally. It's a new and unsettling dynamic. He said one woman he represented told him that her husband had been injured on the job and unable to work, started spending more time online. Now, let's be clear, ladies. Men don't end up in this space just because they hate women. That is the easy solution you've told yourself. That's the easy rhetoric or narrative you told yourself. Men end up in this situation not necessarily because you were a bad person either, but it's because they've had a bad experience in a relationship with you. I want you to take that to the bank, please. Okay? Men just don't fall out of the sky and want you to join the manosphere. That's not how it works. Just like women don't jump out of the skies and fall into the feminism movement. They might tell themselves that, oh, I just love women. I just like to... Yeah, right. Yeah, right. A lot of this situation, a lot, not all, but a lot of this situations is because people are using it to feed their trauma. There's a lot of trauma bonding going on the internet. So started spending more time online and consuming what buyers described as radical ideas about gender. Radical ideas about gender. Okay, so when you start to dig and unpack it or peel the layers back, onions, I understand why you might feel it's misogynistic because that's your experience. It feels misogynistic, and that's valid. But if you're looking at this and you're trying to understand this, I want you to know that it's not as simple as labeling it. That's why I generally try not to use labels because I want us to understand what is going on at a root level, at the very root. How did we get here? All right, so he started to express his views about how their children should be raised and that my client just couldn't accept. Buyer said these men often want to represent themselves because some of the influencers will tell them that the system is against them. They want to represent themselves during divorce proceedings, animated by a perception that the family court system is biased against husbands and fathers. They see this as the fight for their lives, and they are fighting the good fight on behalf of men. They want to save men and boys, when in fact, they haven't even learned how to save themselves. I always tell people, anytime I catch any one of them, man or woman, I say, hey, why don't you save yourself first before you try to save the rest of the world? Why are you trying to pour from an empty cup? Anyway, that was that about the manosphere. I thought that would be something that's very important. I just want you to pay attention to the poisons on the screen before I continue. So now, with that being said, let's dive right into the story of Dwight Howard. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. I'll be right back.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
All right, welcome back. So now, again, Dwight Howard is an NBA star, but in recent times has been making it into the news because of his personal life. Okay, he's made headlines because of his personal life, and these are not always, Anyway, he has multiple public relationships, and let me highlight some of them for you so that you know what we're talking about here. He between 2008 and 2010. Again, remember this guy has been in the NBA he's one of the superstars out there. Like he's above average person when it comes to the NBA, right? In 2008 to 2010, he was with a lady called Tiffany Render. And that person became the mother of the daughter from 2010. Okay, that person became mother of a daughter from 2010. In 2000 and after that, they're all entangled. Okay, there's multiple overlaps. Okay, in 2009 to 2011, he was with a fitness model called Hope Alexa, who became the mother of a daughter called Jade. From the same year, December 2010, the two babies within the same 2010, allegedly. Okay, this is according to Spill Times. I don't know if these are tabloids or what, but this is what's available online. In 2012 to 2013, he was with a lady called Christine Vest. They had a son called Trey in 2013. Okay, in 2013. It was with Melissa Rios, who gave birth, same 2013, to a David, a son called David. Unfortunately, I think they said David tragically passed away in 2020 from an epileptic seizure. Sad to hear that. So it looks like he had 2 babies in 2010, 2 babies in 2013. I wonder what happened between 2011 and 2012. Maybe he was trying to work on himself. He was trying to be serious after the first time. And that's something you should pay attention to in your personal life too. Maybe you notice that you have patterns. You might have time that you take off, you try to work on yourself, and then you're doing well, and before you know it, you fall apart again. You go back to your bad habits. That happens too, right? All right. So you also had some brief flings with the likes of Camila. There's another adult performer. Okay, looks like a porn star, Tiana Trump. And another social influencer called Selena Powell. That Selena Powell sounds so familiar. Sounds like a name that I've seen somewhere. In 2018, 2021. So there's this big gap that I'm seeing here. Maybe it's not a real gap because they also said it's Tiana Trump and all these other people, right? Maybe it's not a real gap. It's just based off of what I'm looking at. Tia Cooper, 2018, 2021, some WNBA guard. They were engaged in 2019, married 2020, divorced 5 months later amid alleged infidelity, according to to many sources, as a matter of fact. But the most popular one is the one that Chia is talking about in the chat. Chia said he was with Royce in a very nasty relationship. Royce from Basketball Wives shows. All these kids with different women. Yes. Abby said he gave his life to Christ. Yeah. Sometimes you're just looking for God, and you're just trying to, do it right. It's not easy. It's easier said than done. The more patterns you've seen of certain behaviors into the past, the more chances that you're probably going to continue the same behavior. When people say always a cheater, this is why they said that. It's not like it's not possible, but if you have certain bad behaviors in the past, there's a good chance you will continue the same behavior. A good chance. It's not an absolute. It's not 100%. Neither should you think of it as 100%, because that same finger that you're using to point fingers at people with certain behavior points back at you 4 more times. Can you change? Yes, you can change, of course. You can change your behavior. You just have to be committed. You have to put yourself in the right environment. You have to get proper support, because trying to change is easier said than done. If you haven't identified some level of pleasure, relief, pain, there's a good chance you won't change if you're a regular human being like the rest of us, especially if you don't have support system. Anyway, I yield. Let's get back to some other stuff here. Let's continue. All right, so they're saying the Royce Reed allegations, right? Royce Reed made some certain allegations. Royce Reed is a young lady who ended up on a reality TV show some years back, maybe even closing on like a decade ago right now. But at the time, she had a gag order. She couldn't mention his name, But in recent years, she's come out. I think she's ended up on some other blogs. I don't remember if it was Tasha K, but she's ended up on some blogs where she's made allegations of sexual and physical abuse. Reed has accused Howard of forcing her into sexual acts she didn't consent to, and described physical and mental abuse. This is according to 7 different sources on the internet. So this is out there on the internet. It's just all alleged, okay? But she's also made some other accusations about this guy having sex with men. Oh yeah, in the last 1 year, she ended up on Cam Newton's Funky Friday podcast. That same podcast where we have Auntie Cheyenne Bryant, the young lady who is teaching married people how to stay in marriage. Yes, who is not married herself. She's getting dragged as we speak on the internet, because in one breath she's single, but she's also been dating this same person for the past 5 years, on and off. But it's only because that person has some emotional stuff to walk through, but the person is also 10 years behind her. I mean, all of this does not mean anything. I'm just saying, But these are the reasons why the manosphere has been dragging her for a few days. If you don't know Cheyenne Bryant, well, check her out. She's an interesting character in this internet streets. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. Anyway, Royce Reed's allegations on the Communities Fucking Friday podcast. She said frequently she witnessed Howard being intimate with men at his home, sometimes under the influence of psychedelics, even while her son was present upstairs. Okay, no, so I don't think I've mentioned it yet. The oldest son, I think, is the oldest child of Dwight Howard, is actually the son that Royce Reed had for him. The son is much older than the other ones, I think. He must have been in his late teenage years now. They said the patterns paint a picture of relationship marked by allegations of manipulation. So those of you that say these are celebrity issues, this has nothing to do with us. This has nothing to do with us. What about manipulation? What about infidelity? What about trauma? Right? Can you relate with that? If you can't relate, do you know someone that can relate with that? That they are not celebrities. Okay? So let's just debunk that first of all, that these are all celebrities. It has nothing to do with it. It has everything to do with you. At least you have children, you have relationships, people that can learn from you. People that can hear a word of wisdom from you after you've given them your shoulder to rest on, to cry on, after they don't collect woto in this relationship streets.
Sorry, yo.
Yeah. It's real. The streets love nobody. Everybody might collect. The streets loves nobody. So I said, no, I belong to the streets. I'd rather stay in the streets. Marriage is not an achievement. Okay, all right. It is not. I agree with you 100%.
Oh, you're right.
So back to it. All right. There's some other legal matters and rumors, of course. They said 2023, there was a civil lawsuit. There's a Georgia man, Stephen Harper, filed a sexual assault and battery suit related to a coerced threesome. Howard denied it. Okay, all allegedly, calling the encounter consensual. Oh, wait. He denied it, but he didn't deny that something happened, but he called it consensual. The suit was dismissed with prejudice in August 2024. That was just last year. Okay, and this story is on page6.com and a few other platforms. Okay. All right, there's also sexuality rumors, as you can already imagine. Of course, Royce Reed made all those accusations about his encounters with men and stuff like that. So there's obviously sexuality rumors. I think it was mostly by Royce Reed. She said she's seen recurring speculations, even outside of what she saw herself. Okay. But other people have also said they've seen other stuff, somewhere around 2018, there's a report here that says Dwight sued a trans YouTuber, Masin Elijah, in 2018 for defamation over claimed bisexual experiences. But then he dropped it. He dropped the lawsuits. But of course, Royce Reed's recent accusations is not helping any matter. I guess after the gag order from the reality TV show Basketball Wives became obsolete after a while, she decided that I can speak my truth. She said, Ola, they drag Cheyenne Begus on this show by a former basketball player, Paul Pierce. Yeah, that's the recent one, Paul Pierce. Actually, if I have chance, if he makes it to our list, we'll cover that later on. We'll see some of the stuff she said. Paul Pierce, co-signed by his wife and Tasha K, was all over it. Was that Paul Pierce's wife? Is that his wife? I didn't know he was married, but anyway. They called her out. Yeah. So they're also saying Cheyenne is gay, by the way, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. I should cover it. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. I have so many things I can cover, but I only cover the stuff that makes it to the top. Anyway, let's get back to some of this stuff. So again, the Royce Reed situation is probably the most explosive past relationship that he's had. And of course, there's all these legal battles. There's allegations of abuse, rumors, Howard's sexuality, of course. The sexuality doesn't really matter for what we cover here, okay? To an extent, but not so much, you know. And of course, a bunch of partners with all these children. Clearly, this is a man that's not able to keep his household in order, okay? There's defamation lawsuits. There's child support. Some people like CB, it's ordinary child support. Nobody is happy to receive child support orders, okay? If they say they're happy, they're capping big time, okay? There's a lot of men that will cap and just say it's not a big deal, okay? The reality is that anytime you find yourself inside of the system, it's always a big deal.
Stop the cap.
All right, I don't care if you're the villain or the victim. Whatever you consider yourself, nobody is happy to be spending hours upon hours in a court. Nobody's happy for that, you know. So please, all of us, let's stop the cap. Let's learn how to avoid the system. The system is not designed for you. If you end up in that system, you go collect. Again, stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
All right, so it's not easy. It takes a lot away from. If you end up there, it's a necessary process you have to go through. It's not something that people are happy to go through, but you know. But let's just be guided. All right. So with that being said, I think I'm happy to jump in to some of the lessons that we need to learn from this whole situation. Okay. First lesson: patterns don't lie, people do. Patterns don't lie, people do. Okay, the clearest sign of the future is the past. Okay, I know what you're asking. Does that mean you shouldn't give people a chance? I didn't say that. Because you have patterns. Some of them are bad. Grace is a big part of your life journey. That's the reality. Okay, learning how to and when to give grace is going to be a big part of your journey. The ability to give grace is not something you open your mouth and tell me. Okay, it's something that's more innate. It's not something that you can decide to do. There's a certain way you talk, there's a certain way you move, and I can detect if you're the kind of person that can give grace, because grace will be necessary in relationships regardless. Okay, so that's not the point of me telling you that patterns don't lie. This is not for you to say, hey, once a cheater, always a cheater. This is not the point of that. Okay, that statement is being said because it's true to a large extent, but it's also not being said for you to weaponize against yourself, because sometimes the person you might need to get with might have, you know, a bad past history, you know, but it just depends. But in recent times, what's your experience with them? What patterns have you seen? And how much time did you give to even know if you can read patterns or not? You cannot, you know, somebody might say, but some people meet in 2 weeks and they get married and they lasted a lifetime, quote unquote. What about Charlie Boy, Area Boy 1, Charlie Okuta? I beg, there's no formula to this thing. There is formula. So it's not about the time per se, it's about you as an individual. Can you pick up certain patterns in just 2 weeks? I'll be 3 months. I'll be 1 year. Let me even shock you. I was with my wife for 3 years before we got married. That 3 years is largely because we were coming right out of college. Okay? So it's largely because of that. It's not, if you're a man or woman of a certain age, there's no need to be waiting around for 3 years. You see, everything is some form of bell curve. there's no absolute to it. There's too much of it and there's too little of it. Everything that matters in life there's an extreme of it on both sides. Okay, so if you're dating somebody for 2 months and then you say you're just ready to go, I'll probably look at you sideways. It doesn't mean you're wrong. There's a good chance you're wrong. I don't know if you're wrong. Okay, so why am I saying that to you? The reality is that patterns don't lie. People do lie. Now, Dwight, I keep butchering his name. Dwight Howard's his long history of broken relationships, court battles, multiple baby mothers. There's a chance it's a charmer, right? His very presence. There's a good chance that, in addition to the money and the clout, all that, right? There's a good chance that he knows how to attract lots of women and men, right? But it's not able to maintain it unless it ends in some level of basketballs, court battles, and all these crazy allegations. Clearly, he's not living this relationship scot-free. It's not living this relationship without leaving certain levels of trauma on them. But yet, he's capable of attracting them. And I bet you right now it's still attracting more. For whatever reason, maybe because of money. Some people might say because of money. The money is not the issue. It's the idea that he has value to bring to those relationships. But are they short-term or long-term values? That's the question. Okay. Short-term values are very intoxicating. They are very, very seductive. Short-term values such as money, such as Bobby, such as Big Bakassi, such as a nice body shape, such as, I don't know, short-term stuff. They are all seductive for a good reason. But in the long run, you have to ask yourself, can you sustain this? If you know the reality of human beings, that eventually they reveal more and more of themselves. Somebody said, but these people should stop lying to you. Maybe you can be sincere from the beginning. Aww, you're still dealing with unrealistic expectations, Abby. Or we're talking about human beings, okay? I wish they could be sincere from the beginning. They can be to an extent, to a small extent. But the reality is that human beings will reveal more and more of themselves as time goes on, which is why you should give some level of time. But at some point, you have to make a decision. You have to put yourself out there and take some risk, because the winners in this life, they are risk takers, okay? At some point, you have to take a risk. You can't just sit down there in a bad relationship in the name of, I'm just not sure. So that's lesson number one. Before we move forward real quick. Again, we're in the middle of a promotion. We gave 7 offers yesterday and they are all gone. Okay. But still, you can access our 21-day bootcamp. 21-day bootcamp, marriage bootcamp. It's virtual, it's on demand. It releases each training to you per day for the next 21 days. And it puts you on the forefront so you can get on our priority list as well, and then it gives you access to the books. Okay, and this is the only access you have to us as coaches. If you want us to help you personally, it's only $97. Just go to manofprestige.com and you can access that. All right, so let's get back to the story. Dwight Howard, lesson number 2. Okay, lesson number 2. Well, to be clear on that lesson right there, the idea is don't date or marry based on potential. Date based on patterns. Potential, sometimes people say potential, money-wise. Again, money and all this other stuff is surface level stuff. We're talking about how this person make you feel in the time you've spent with them. Okay, and then also you should pay attention to how they behave outside of you. Like, how do they behave with regards to their mother, their father, their siblings, their relationships, their job relationship. Pay attention to their lifestyle. Their lifestyle will tell you much more than what is your credit score. What do you think about when a woman wants to go out and work? they're not gonna tell you the truth. Okay, I'm warning you. I'm giving you a warning up front right now. They're not gonna tell you the truth, not because they don't want to tell you the truth. They in fact think they're telling you the truth. It's just that they're doing what normal human beings do. They put their best foot forward, as they should. You should be doing the same thing. It is you that probably need to manage your expectations. All right, good. So now, if you're in the middle of dating somebody, okay, that you're not sure because they have a certain type of past, and you've seen remnants, residues, and it's because these things are not always, they're not always clear, right? Maybe you see some residues of possible past behaviors, you're not sure. We can talk about it, okay? You know what to do. Just go to manofprestige.com and we'll take you up from there. All right. Let's go to lesson number 2. Lesson number 2, charisma is not the same thing as character. Now, when it comes to character, again, manage your expectations. There's a lot of people on the internet talking about character, when in fact, it's obvious that they lack character. I know. When in fact, it's very obvious that they lack character. Remember what I was just saying? There's a good chance that this gentleman, Dwight Howard, that he attracts not just women, even men, in a very romantic, conducive, feel-good way, and not just money, because money can only go so far. Money is probably a big part of it. But attention, okay? You want to get the average woman? Just give her a good enough, feel-good attention. That's all it takes, oftentimes, But charisma, all in all, charisma, well, one thing we can be sure of right now is that this guy is probably charming, obviously successful, powerful guy, a magnet for attention, if you will, right? That's a very powerful position to be. Power is a very powerful thing. Power attracts people, unfortunately, for the wrong reasons, okay? But if you have enough stability in your personal life, if you've done enough work on yourself, there's a good chance it will repel you. You'll be able to pick it apart from 10,000 miles away, okay? So the appeal of his image, of course, will probably blind a lot of people. Before they know it, they don't enter one chance with that. How many personal relationships have you entered? You know that something is off. You can move forward, but you can't go backwards. So when character reveals itself, it's not as simple as you can just leave. That's not how it works, right? Oftentimes you've invested a part of you and you're hoping secretly that something will work out. But then every time you wait, another 3 months is gone, another 6 months is gone. Right? Another 1 year, maybe another 8 years is gone. The reality is that the true character of a person reveals itself in how they treat people, okay? But how are you going to know that in the short term, right? So it's not just how they treat people, but how they treat people that can't benefit them. How do they express love? Love is not something you express when you are infatuated by, by butterflies, right? When you're being seduced by attention. That's not love, okay? We can still call it love, but maybe you call that love. That's when people say love is not enough. That's what they mean. That butterfly feeling. Yeah, of course, that's not enough, right? But over a period of time, you're going to need to have something a little bit more sustainable. Where's that going to come from? It needs to come from inside, okay? It needs to come from inside, okay? So if you find yourself falling for charisma and seemingly ignoring character, the reality is that character will reveal over time, but you don't really need that if you work on yourself. You don't need the full character because you will repel the actual truth of the situation if you've done enough work on yourself. You won't even know why. You just know that something is off, right? Because you are leveraging self. Remember what we always cover here. We cover everything from a self-power, social seduction, attraction, emotional intelligence standpoint. The first is self. That self is leverage, right? It's not just self, but even including your higher self. Something that's bigger than your quote-unquote intentional, logical mind. Because something will push against something, even when you're weak. Something will just not work out right. That's when people try to be intentional, like, oh, they're just more disciplined. I say, there's some things that will happen beyond you, that it's not just discipline. Discipline can help, but that's the key word, help. The key word is help. So how do you build this thing that's bigger than yourself, even when you're in your weakest mode? Because you're a human being, you do have weaknesses. But when you're in your weakest mode, that thing will kick in and actually do majority, the heavyweight for you. That's what we do here, okay? That's what we're able to help with. Let's move on to lesson number 3 before we digress too much into this. Number 3, unhealed people bleed on those who didn't cut them. Unhealed. What did Dr. Kingsley said? Dr. Kingsley Okonkwo. Is that his name? Dr. Kingsley. Pastor Kingsley, yeah? Same one. The relationship guru, pastor, right? He said, heal before you deal. That is real. Okay? It's a lot of people moving around the internet. By the way, if I've said anything that makes sense to you, please hit the like button. Thank you. Hit the like button. Thank you. I appreciate you. Heal before you deal. Unhealed people will bleed on those who didn't cut them. According to Nollywood movies and karma, karma should only come back to people that have committed atrocities, the villains. Thank you for the 2 more likes. I appreciate it. Thank you for giving us 2 more likes. Please go back and hit the like button if you haven't done that. Right? Well, sexual liberation. But who cares? Who's counting body count? I don't count body counts. My spirit will count it, and I know. If anybody has worked enough on themselves, there will never be a need for them to be counting body. If you have to count body count, if you have to be obsessed over the topic of body count, you're probably just a lame person. Gentlemen, okay? Because you should be able to pick that up without counting. And by the way, she's going to lie to you regardless. The only time she may not lie to you is she's a virgin. Virgins generally don't lie about that. But if she's not a virgin, she will lie to you. Okay? Rightfully so. You deserve the lie. Because I don't know why you're asking for that information. You should be able to pick that up without asking for it. Okay? Anyway. Number 3 lesson here is unhealed people bleed on those who didn't cut them. When you go through all these multiple different relationships, multiple children with different mothers, abuse allegations, it's not just Dwight that's collecting here. I know in your heart of hearts is the villain. No. What about all those girls that he's getting with? All those girls that are still going to get with him? All of them. All the emotional wounds. What about all the... these people are most likely going to end up stuck in cycles. It's easy to blame Dwight Howard. What about them? They're not popular. You think, oh, they're not celebrities. It doesn't matter. It does matter. Okay? How much accountability do you think they will have? Your guess is as good as mine. Probably 0. What do I mean by accountability? Self-accountability. I'm not talking about holding other people accountable. Self-accountability, self-reflection, self-awareness is what I'm talking about. How much do you think they have? No. They are like the rest of us. They probably will find a way to justify the bullshit in short term. Because it feels good. They can sleep and wake up tomorrow to live another day. But what happens? They bleed on other people they encounter. Okay? The reality is that people want love. Okay? They still want love. They want connection. It's a basic human need. But oftentimes you have too many people because they're confused. There are too many people spreading toxicity and dysfunction that they've collected from so many other unions they've created. Okay? So, yeah. It's a basic human need. If you come on the internet and you tell me that it's not for everyone, it's not a do or die, first of all, you're right. Let me just be clear about that.
You're right.
But what else do you need to tell me? There's definitely something else you need to tell me. Definitely. Don't argue with your destiny. There's something else you need to tell me. Okay. All right, so if you want to tell me, you know what to do. Just go to manofprestige.com. Number 4, lesson number 4. Marriage isn't the cure for dysfunction. A lot of people just get married to try to push these issues under the rug. You know, have you noticed that I always agree when people say marriage is not an achievement? I kind of sort of. You probably can hear me out here behind the scenes. I'm like, like I'm on the fence about it because it depends on the person that's talking, obviously. But the reason why I'm on the fence is some people don't need to be married. Some people don't need to not just married. They need to stop. If we can't stop at don't need to be married. They also don't need to be having irresponsible sex. Okay, because if you're knocking, if you're having sex all around town, you're exposed to the same risk you're trying to avoid. Okay, so now obviously he got married 6 months ago. She's filed for divorce right now. He got married to this lady Amber, and only 6 months. They publicized the engagement. Ooh. It's easy to call Dwight Howard a red flag, okay? But oftentimes, the walking red flag are the ones to call out the red flags first. Oftentimes, not all the time, okay? Because somehow you jump into this relationship, right? People will say, but what about the man? You know, but no, you can't do what about the man. Your point of leverage is always you. Either you're a man or woman, you are disengaging from your power when you focus on the other party. You need to engage yourself. You see, this life, we hold all of us accountable. Last. Okay? Just don't be a victim. Don't be a walking red flag, because all you're doing is pointing fingers. You're out there chasing after the thieves and you're getting robbed in broad daylight because you put all your attentions on the thief and you're not protecting yourself. All right. So again, with that being said, anyway, marriage is not a quick fix. Okay. Marriage is not it's not a symbol of new beginnings. A lot of people treat it as new beginnings. That's why second, third marriages end up in that crazy statistics of 75% of divorce rates. So it's about in Nigeria, it's only 2%. You're a liar. You're a liar. What lie? You're not telling us that Nigeria is terrible at keeping records and track records or keeping data. Okay, you're obviously lying through your teeth. Whenever you tell me that marriage is only 2.3% divorce rate in Nigeria, you're a liar. Okay. All right. So, of course, the signs of that is marriages falling apart. You see, it's not just Dwight Howard. We see this in regular people. Marriages falling apart within a few months. Okay, because people, they are dealing without healing. They're not dealing with their issues before they go. What do I mean by deal with the issues? Okay, maybe you can't really necessarily recognize it, a trauma of any type. It's not always a trauma. Some people even call that big English, usually because they lack patience in this conversation. They call it big English. The reality is that this is you're just demonstrating your lack of patience. This is not big English. This is how complex the human emotion and relationships can be, especially if you're not patient enough. Okay, and particularly when you're not patient enough. Just know that marriage does not fix problems. Marriage is an institution, okay, and it's a function of the people in it. If at least one trash person is inside of a marriage, that marriage will be trash. That does not mean you should be waiting for it takes two to tango. Start working on yourself first. Okay. However, marriage will only magnify your problems. Okay. If you're thinking about marriage as the next step in your personal life, you need to let us make sure that it's the right move. All you have to do is go to just go to manofprestige.com. Just go to manofprestige.com. I'm going to put that on the screen right now. You can access coach and books at manofprestige.com. All right, without any further ado, let's move on to lesson number 5. Lesson number 5. The cost of ignoring red flags. This is one of your favorite topics anyway, but let me just tell you, the most important red flag, have I said that enough? Is you. Make sure that you're not a walking red flag. Because if you're a walking red flag, what does that mean exactly? You become easy target for quote unquote red flags, right? Because you attract who you are. You attract who you are. Your biggest point of leverage is to make sure you're not a walking red flag. How? Well, people that are infatuated by short-term benefits, gains, and things like that, or people that yield towards butterfly. You're a normal human being if you are. I love love. Me too. I love love. I'm not like some of these weirdos in the manosphere. I love love too. But we're talking about the rest of your life. You want to make sure it's done properly. Okay? If you're thinking about it. Now, if you're already stuck in it, don't listen to people that say you should have betted. That's nonsense. If you're stuck in it, first of all, change that language from stuck to this is where you are. It's the beginning of the rest of your life. What you have is now. Okay? You have, yes, you can look into the past to extract the lessons. That's also a form of asset, but you don't want to do that by living in guilt, because guilt is also just as destructive. Okay? But you do have now, and obviously you have the rest of your lives. What are you going to do with that right there? If you don't know what to do with that, you become a red flag inside of a marriage. And if you try to escape that marriage, unless we're talking about abuse, of course, if you're trying to escape the marriage without doing the work, it follows you everywhere you go. It's your shadow. It follows you everywhere you go. Okay? So don't ignore the red flags, starting with you. Okay? And obviously, in addition to don't go into a relationship, you notice this person have patterns. Especially it's all over the place. You can see it, but you can see it in the news. But somehow you think your own is going to be different. This time it's going to be different. And then 6 months later, you find out that, oh, it's business as usual. I'm bored. Same thing. Same history. Same thing. People have patterns. People are predictable. That's why they are mostly losing in relationship. You don't have to be a loser. You can change from being in the bottom 97% to the top 3%. It's a matter of personal choice. And if you're going to talk about accountability, you better stay focused on self-accountability. Focus on self-accountability. Okay? Some of you claim to have intuition, but your intuition is only out there to make you all defensive. Your intuition only speaks to you to make you defensive. And you call it intuition, but that's actually destroying your chances at happiness. Yes, happiness. The only thing you focus on is everything that creates more and more fear for you. And you call it intuition. Is your intuition not supposed to be protecting you? Oh, let me guess. You want the honest. You just want to know everything up front. Good luck. Good luck. By the way, life is boring if you know everything up front. Okay? So hopefully, you're not confusing chemistry for compatibility. Compatibility has the space in this conversation. For the most part, when people say compatibility, they're full of shit. They have low tolerance. But it does exist. It's a thing that we need to pay attention to. Okay? But this is some of the things we can help you decode. Let's move on to lesson number 6. Fame, of course, exposes private life. Okay? Exposes what private life conceals. Okay? It exposes things that you don't even know was there before. But think about fame sort of kind of like society. Exposure. Think about it like you step out of the door. You're going to work today. You're going to go relate with some people at work. It's not even necessarily always romantic, right? But think about that person that's gaslighting you or triggering you at work, right? Think about that as fame. It's exposure, right? So in this case, we're talking about monitoring spirit, millions of monitoring spirits, right? Of course, they all have something to say when it comes to celebrity life, right? But fame does not create anything out of thin air. The only thing it exposes is truth, the lies that were already there before, and all the contradiction. It exposes. Social media does not create anything. Somebody says social media it's not real life. Says woo, you're lying. Again, that's another lie you tell yourself. It's real life. It's real life. It only magnifies what was already there before. Okay? So even in private relationships, eventually the truth, the actual truth, will not come from a KNAPC bishop. No, it is time. It is time. Truth is undefeated. Eventually, the truth surfaces. It is not a matter of if, it is when. Sometimes it's too late. Sometimes it's after part 1 of the Nollywood movie. So if you are waiting for karma, you put your life on hold waiting for karma. You're waiting for the end. I know, man. Anyway, it's about to say coward. Not coward. Howard. Not coward. Howard's issues did not start when the camera started rolling. It started long before that. That's why if you have a child star, you gotta be careful, because the fame will blow everything out of, we call it out of proportion. It's literally proportionate, okay? But I get it when we say out of proportion. It will blow it out of water. It will be too much for one human being to handle. That's why some of these guys, they've lived like 50 people's lifetime within a period of 10 years. Because the fame is a lot for one human being to handle, because it will basically expose everything. It will magnify everything. Yes, it will magnify everything. Okay? So don't wait for enough big reasons, okay, to reassess your relationship. If you see small things here and there, sometimes your spirit is telling you something is off. Don't wait until the pastor says, I saw somebody, their marriage right now is in troubles. Their marriage is in troubles. Don't wait for that, because they're probably not going to give you a good solution. They'll probably create more problems for you from that angle. Okay? They're kind of right, but they are wrong at the same time. All right. Why did I say they're wrong? Because they will usually give you the wrong solution.
You get it? Okay. If you don't get it, forget about it.
All right. All right, so let's go to last but not the least. Last but not the least. If you're watching this as a recording later on, make sure you let me know. Let me know that you got some value out of this. If you disagree, also let me know if you watch this as a recording later on. Because like, for example, yesterday we had 24 people at the peak on the live session, and they ended up with 500 plus views. Obviously, a lot of those are main nation looking for remnants and residues to pick all over the place. But for those of you that were here and you're really here for the lessons, please make it a point to leave a comment. Let me know that you're watching. I always appreciate D, because D always let me know that she was here. I always that goes a long way for me, guys. If you want to help me, okay, it helps me. It's very encouraging when you leave comments after the fact, okay, if that's what you're watching. All right, so lesson number 7, last but definitely not the least. Everybody deserves love, but not everyone is ready to give it. Nigerians, where are thou? Many of you watch all this Nollywood stories and all this stuff. You like love. I love love. Until it's time to give it. And then you start saying, give or take. It's give or take. If you say, afterwards, supposed to be, so what happens? What if you keep giving, and the other person is not reciprocating? What do you mean? You're only telling me that you don't trust the law of reciprocation. You're only telling me that your focus is taking. You're a taker. That's what you're telling me. But let me be nice, because sometimes I understand. I know where you're coming from. You've been giving, but let me guess. You haven't done a good job at giving to yourself. You've been pouring from an empty cup. Maybe you don't even know how to fill your own cup before you pour into other people. So people often confuse someone being lovable with them being capable of loving back. Again, there's charisma, there's short-term love solutions, love concoction, short term, right? the short term, there's influence. Somebody is just powerful enough, or you notice other people like them, so suddenly they're now giving you a little of attention. You feel like you're a special prize. Short term feelings, right? So for example, this outward guy, right, like I was saying earlier on, the charm, the influence, but somehow you skip the pattern of emotional unavailability, the dysfunction, the conflict. But in the short term, you feel good. You are the one. You are the Ayo right now. You are the one on top of, you're the special person right now. So of course that will create a blind spot because it feels so good. Okay. Amber, the new ex-wife to be. I think they said Royce might have been married to. I don't know if he was married to Royce. I'm not. I doubt it. Royce was a dancer. Was what do you call those people? Cheerleader. That's how she ended up entangled up with this guy. So Amber must have been feeling a sense of safe place, right? But there's a problem. When you're dealing with a person that lacks self-love, it's possible that they can come off as lovable in short term, especially if they have access to resources and power, right? They have clout. It's very, very possible. What does that look like? They are the keyboardist in church. They are the pastor. Everything goes back to self-love. I know, especially men, they don't like the language of self-love. But self-love is not as simple as talking about it. Self-love is it's a wholesome thing. It's not something that stops. There are days you don't feel like you love yourself. It's not something that's I just love myself. No, it's not. It's not something you talk out loud on TikTok or Clubhouse. It's not. It's something that's demonstrated over a period of time. So the reality is that a lot of people are just all over the place looking for love, and they are terrible at giving love, right? In fact, what they tend to say is give or take. Not everybody that say give or take, but majority of people that say give or take, the take is really their point of contention. They are basically expressing that they've been giving without managing the expectations, and they focused on giving to other people and pouring from an empty cup. They are terrible at giving love to themselves. So of course they suck at giving love to another person. Right? They suck at it. So what do? They turn around, they do what the rest of us do. They point fingers. They are looking for platforms where all they do is point fingers. Hold other human beings that they don't already like, hold them accountable. They are busy holding people they don't like accountable. It's confusion at best. Okay. So what should you do then? You should only go into a relationship to go and give. That's it. You should only go into relationships, or if you're in a relationship, you should only be focused on giving. Focused on giving. If you feel like there's no reciprocation, then focus on giving to yourself. Stop pouring into yourself. Stop winging things. Stop using common sense. It's when we say Mr. Nice Guys, right? People that give because they are marking calendars, because the day you don't give back to them, they will now say, you didn't give today, oh. We've all been there before. We've all been in that space before. But if it tends to be like a consistent thing, it is toxic. That's what some people call domineering. That's what some people call controlling or manipulative. All you do is complain, but you've never sat your butt down somewhere and say, hey, what do I bring into this relationship? Can I even personally point out what I bring to this relationship? Outside of cooking and cleaning, outside of I provide money and I protect. Have you taken the time to really look at that? From a self-respect standpoint, as in like you feel good about yourself, as in you're sure of it and you trust that when you give, reciprocation is inevitable. You're not waiting for it. It's a given. You don't wait for reciprocation. The same way you don't wait for respect The same way you don't wait or be asking for submission on the internet from strangers that you don't like. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notification. If you watch this later on and you're one of our re-watchers, I want to say I appreciate you. If you're hanging out with me live, you're one of these 7 people watching me live right now. I want to say thank you. I appreciate you. It means everything. This is the reason why I've been coming back for like 4 years, since 2021 October. So you're the reason why I keep coming back. 700 plus lives in. So like I said earlier on, all you have to do if you're looking for my wife and I's personal help, all you have to do is go to this page, manofprestige.com, and we're very happy to bring you into our world. For now, the coaching program that I offered yesterday is over. You can always still sign up, but that program is over. But right now, you can still get access. Just go to manofprestige.com, and if you're a marriage-minded person and you want to do it right, 21 days. Just give us 21 days. And then in addition to that, there's some other bonuses back there. So take care of it. Just for $97 only. All right. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. God bless. Peace. I'll be back here tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to try to keep it at 1 hour. Okay. 1 hour. So make sure you pay attention. Subscribe. We'll see you soon. Bye now.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.